Hello and welcome back to my channel. So today is a quick review recap of Pose, the final series, okay? Season 3, episode 7, part 1 and part 2. Well, wow. I have a lot of feelings about this series. I feel like it was rushed. I did enjoy it. I'm not gonna lie. I did enjoy it, but I do feel like it was rushed. Some of the scenes I don't agree with. I wish they could have done better, but we'll get into that. Okay, so episode 7, part 1. Blanca, she is a nurse's aide, and she attends to one of her patients named Troy, and he's a white patient. Okay, and Blanca talks with him. You know, and he's scared. He has thrush. She's gonna put him on some meds and stuff like that to get that in his system and stuff. You know, and she's Blanca being a nurse. That's what her calling is, because she's so nurturing and so caring. This is the right profession for her. So that fits her character very well. Okay. So after she talks to, after Blanca talks to her patient, Nurse Betty comes in and says, "Hey, Pray Tell checked himself into the hospital." Well, he checked himself in without them knowing. He's sick. He's really sick, and it looked like it was about over for him. You know what I'm saying? And then, Pray Tell, he's just really sick, and he asked Blanca to lay with him, and she does. Blanca and Pray Tell have this friendship that is amazing. It's a family/friendship. It is a wonderful bond between those two. And he also wants her to help him finish the quilt. Okay, Troy is back at the hospital, and he looks amazing. Now, he tells Blanca about the trials that he got into. So Blanca is looking surprised, like, okay, how did you get these trials when they're not really on the market, and only certain few could get with this medication to help them feel better? Well, Blanca, and Nurse Betty and Christopher, they all talk to the head nurse about the clinical trials, and Christopher said, "Look, I want trials for 2 people, Pray Tell and Blanca." So after that big thing and stuff like that, the nurse does agree with them, but there's only much what she can do. So they start signing papers and stuff like that. I think I'm going ahead of myself. So they told him that, Pray Tell and Blanca will be getting the medicine trials. Okay, so they start the trials, and Pray Tell is walking down the street, honey. Listen, when I tell you Pray Tell can strut, he is walking with his cane. He meets up with Ricky, and Pray Tell, talks to Ricky, and Ricky seems kind of down and, upset, and he does not him perky self. And so they talk, and he tells Ricky about I think it's called the Gay Man's Choir, the Great Man's Choir, and they sound good. They sound really, really good. So Pray Tell brings him there, and they starts to sing and stuff like that. So I think that was a good outlet for Ricky, is to join that choir, because he can sing. So I think that was a great outlet for Ricky. So Pray Tell is having lunch with Nurse Betty, and she's happy he's well, and the meds are helping him. But Blanca tells Chris, they tell that the trials are closed. There are no more They're not accepting any more people for the trials, for the trial medicine. So you know what that happened. So Praytel is upset, and he's like, listen, we have to stop this. We have to fight. We have to get out. People need these medicines. And that's what I don't understand. If you know you have the trials, why are you only, and you know they work, why are you only choosing a select few? And the majority of them are white patients that they're choosing to do these trials with. Okay? And why do you make this medicine so expensive that the Black and Latino community cannot even afford it? Okay? Now, some white people can't afford it either because they don't have no family. But the ones that do have family, they have money and they keep their kids stocked up on medicine. But what happens is those people who are dying, but they are on the medicine, they give it to their communities. And that's how communities get the meds that they need for their illness, for this disease. You get what I'm saying? Let me tell you something. Pose was a teaching tool. If you didn't know what was going on in the late 80s, 90s, with the LGBTQ community and the ballrooms and stuff, you learned through Pose because they gave you the tools. They gave you a microscope to look into and see how things were going down. Okay? And while all this was happening back then, I was like, a teenage girl. So I saw some of the things, not everything, but I saw some of the things. Growing up in the 80s, man, when HIV and AIDS hit, my God, it was like, that was like a terrible time. And then the crack era came. That was another terrible time. And then it was like zombie nation because people were in the street nodding off from heroin and high off meth and, smoking a crack pipe in the park. Back in the day, Washington Square Park and Tompkins Square Park was horrible. So was Central Park. But Central Park is a big park and there's different parts of it. But it used to be a place where cruising happened. You go there and do drugs, prostitution, all types of stuff went down in Central Park. Okay, so now that we got that out the way, Praytel and Blanca get ready for the ball. And they have their little kiki moments, their little conversation. Praytel basically tells Blanca he's happy for her and, and Christopher and that he's there and stuff like that. So, honey, when they get out there on that floor to Diana Ross, they showed their behind. They showed up. They showed out. I loved it. I love that. Blanca was whipping that hair, honey, and Praytel was doing his thing. I absolutely loved it. I love their ballroom scenes. I really do. It just gives me so much, I like seeing all of that. So Praytel is at home and he's taking off his makeup. And it's like he's sitting there thinking about things and he's taking off his he's just wiping his face clean. And, he gets up, he goes into his room, and he goes to bed. Now, Ricky came by, and found him unresponsive. Praytel dies. And my heart just went to my stomach. I was like, oh, no. Out of all the things, I did not want Praytel to die off. I really didn't. But he died. Oh my goodness. That just bothered me because, and then at the dinner with Blanca, Ricky said, hey, he's feeling good, he's feeling better, but Praytel got him some trial medicine, and Nurse Betty was like, well, you can't get any trial medicine. He doesn't have a hookup. So Ricky realized that Praytel was giving him his meds. Praytel sacrificed himself for Ricky's health. And I'm sorry, y'all not going to agree with me on this, but I don't want nobody to die. But if they was going to kill somebody off, somebody was going to die off, It should have been Ricky. I think so. But then again, I understand why they did that with Pray Tell as well. He's older. He's older. But I do wish that he didn't have to die off. If anything, I wish that Ricky could have been the last one to get on the meds. You get what I'm saying? But yeah, Pray Tell sacrificed himself for Ricky's health. Now, part 2. Pray Tell mom Charlene visits Blanca, and she gives Blanca a Pray Tell's ashes to put, in the heart trinkets and stuff like that. And she asks Blanca, she kept some for herself, and Blanca was like, "That's fine," and all that kind of, they had a little conversation. So they hug each other and they talk. That was a really nice moment between Charlene and Blanca. I really wish Charlene was more open to being there for Pray Tell, but sometimes church folks don't see things until it's too late. And that's all I'm going to say on that. Blanca joins ACT UP. She joins, and they will say how to make a statement. They want to go ahead and put their ashes on the doorsteps of the higher ups that's in control of the medicine, and stuff like that. So one lady stood up and said, "Hey," but you could see the concern look on Blanca's face and Ricky's, because I don't think they want to put Pray Tell's ashes there, but they end up doing it. Blanca ends up doing it. But honey, that lady, she brung her son wrapped. Her son was wrapped and laid on the stoop, of the higher ups doorstep. And I was like, wow, that moment. People are fighting for health care and the medicine. It's a lot of control with that stuff. People just don't understand. I feel like there's a cure for a lot of stuff, but they won't make any money off of it if everybody is cured. You know what I'm saying? I ain't going to get too deep into that because that's not what it's about. But Pose is a great teaching tool for those who don't know about certain things. Okay. Blanca has a meeting at Pray Tell's house, and she gives them a piece of him. So she gives him the trinkets that he asked her to give to each one of the people, and she makes a speech about each one. Okay, so Blanca, Angel, Poppy, and Electra, they go and see Ricky, sing at the choir. And he's very emotional, and I think that's where he belongs. He belongs there. Blanca visits with Miss Nurse Betty after she has her little lunch with her man Christopher. He was like, go ahead over there and see Nurse Betty. I keep calling, is that her name, Nurse Betty? Because I keep calling her Nurse Betty. But anyway, they finally fixed up the hospital, and she is now working with babies. And you could tell she's a lot happier there, Nurse Betty. She's working with babies. And her and, Blanca have a conversation and stuff like that. Christopher, you could see that he is so in love with Blanca. He was like, "You working for St. Vincent's, huh?" And I'm just glad to see Blanca doing well. She's doing wonderful. She really is. She's really doing wonderful. And then while she's at her workplace, she meets a young lady named Sapphire, and she tells her, gave her her status, and she's HIV positive. But Blanca understands her. She has a lot in common with this young lady, and so they talk, and she gives her a lot of love and care, and she tells her story. Like, I have it, but you're going to be okay. That's medicine. And then she said, with your income, you could be in the health program and get your medicine. You probably want to pay a penny, and that is nice. She is really meant for that type of work. I don't know how many times I keep saying it, but she really is. So she invites her to the ball. Okay, because she says sometimes you can find your family there, just like she did. Angel, Blanca, Elektra, and Lulu, the girls, they meet up for lunch, honey, and everyone is looking fabulous. Those girls look good. Everybody looks fabulous. Everyone looks fabulous. So, they have a little conversation. They talk. So Blanca was like, I'm going to the ball. So, of course, Elektra, why do you keep going to those kind of things? And then, everyone says they're busy. They can't make it. But when they go to the ball, when Blanca's at the ball, I see Ricky. Ricky is looking good. Okay. And I can see a little pray tell in him when he's talking to the new members of the house of Evangelista. And he looks good. He's doing well. He's getting into their behind, just like how Pray Tell would. But, he's, doing his thing, him and Blanca and everything. And so they get out there and, honey, their house walks the categories. And they won their first trophy. And who comes in? Miss Elektra gets up there and gives a speech and presents Blanca with an award. Okay, she presents Blanca with the award. And when she goes to accept the award, she see Angel, Poppy, Lulu. She sees the main ones. And I wish Damon could have been a part of that. But, his sister was murdered in real life, so he could not film with the rest of the cast. But I really wish he could have been there. That was a very emotional moment. Very. So she, everyone is, chanting House of Evangelista, and she see the young lady that she invites to the ball is there. And so she tells her, you're going to walk your first category. And she's like, really? And so she tells her other children to go and get her ready. And that was kind of cool. So then Blanca's still sitting in there, and she's holding on to her plaque because now she's in legendary status. Okay. So she goes outside. She hears a voice like, girl, what are you still doing here? It was Pray Tell's voice, but she turned around. It was the janitor, the maintenance guy cleaning up. So, she go outside, and a few people, a house mother and her children was saying, how come we can't win a trophy and stuff like that? What we got to do to win a trophy? And here come Pray Tell, the spirit of Pray Tell walking up. Oh, look at the children who they sobbing over they never won a trophy. And what he has taught Blanca, she is passing on that knowledge to the person that she's talking to. And that right there, it just shows how everything comes full circle. I really do think if they would have took Pose to the next level, it could have been Pose, the next generation. Even though there would have been some changes and maybe all of the original crew members wouldn't have been there, or they would have been there but gone on with their lives. At least we would have got a chance to see, okay, what happened with the new generation that came through. You get what I'm saying? I just feel like the ending didn't satisfy me when Blanca was walking off. She was just walking home. That ending didn't satisfy me. Her words to the other house mother and her children were good. Excellent knowledge. But I felt like it could have been more with the season series. It should have went out with a bang. We had some moments, some emotional moments. I do think that Pray Tell should not have died. But, they still on top. So if you're going to go out, still go out on top. But that's my review, and my recap is over with. I'm so sad about that. But, times moves on. And from what I see, every one of those characters in Pose, they are doing other things now. A lot of doors has opened for them, and that's great. So, you guys, that's all I have, and I will talk to you later.